Good morning, everybody. I'm Luke Sullivan with Transwest Truck Trailer RV, and happy Friday. Transwest, we are in Frederick, Colorado, just about 30 minutes north of Denver. We're right on Interstate 25. You can't miss us. We always got some new inventory rolling in, and used inventory too. Behind me today, I think, is certainly growing more so every day in popularity, and certainly one of our more popular horse style trailers, a 2+1. This one's fully decked out. Cimarron, it's a 2026 model. We've got a lot going on with it, from air ride to Werm flooring to traveling dividers. So let's get right into it. First and foremost, Cimarron and B&W have done a number of different iterations of this coupler now. So we've got a lot of adjustment, whether we get it sucked all the way up in there because we've got some really tall bed heights, maybe a lifted truck, small lifts, we can certainly accommodate, but you've got a lot of adjustment with this. Little bit different of a style of handle, but we like it set up quite a bit. That's engaged, up and stepped over like that is disconnected. So we like that quite a bit. Small things with Cimarrons that we like, a couple different little things, but that coiled breakaway cable keeps that clutter out of the bed of our truck. We like that quite a bit. And then big heavy duty safety chains. Please folks, even with your gooseneck trailers, use your safety chains. We do have your normal 7-pin connection plug into your vehicle, your tow vehicle, using that to run through a box today to run some lights for us. So few things before we get this opened up, because we've got a lot going on inside of here. But before we do that, we do have an electric over hydraulic jack on this trailer. Really nice system, very fast, very secure. It is keyed with a button control over here, so you have a little bit more security over it too. And then if you ever do have a dead battery, if you ever have something go wrong with your power system, this little handle right here, spin this around, you can plug it into the side right here, and it's just like a floor jack to change a tire on a car in your shop or something like that. And you can raise or lower it. So a little knob on the side, really easy. If you're in an emergency situation, you need to disconnect from your truck, or you need to hook onto your truck and lower it, you have that option. And then again, before we get in here, because we've got quite a bit going on, full-size spare. We'll talk about running gear and tires and stuff like that a bit more when we get over to our axles in the side of the trailer. But this is a 17.5 full size, and it is matching. We've spun it around a little bit just to save face. So really big option that this trailer has that you just can't say enough great things about. Those that are in these air ride trailers now say they'll never go back to anything, but once you've run one down the road, it really is a game changer. I'm sorry for the cliche, but it is. So inside this box, we've housed the whole self-contained air ride suspension. Nothing more than your 7-pin connection is your plug into your truck. No interface or anything like that. This is fully self-contained, and we really like it inside this battery box under our gooseneck because it saves face quite a bit. So mind the sound for a quick second. We'll just flip it on. That's your power switch. It'll run up to around 120, 140 PSI. It'll hold that constant pressure. You want to leave that system on whenever you're running down the road. And then you have a valve here next to that. Raise and lower. Lower is up, raise is lower. Little different, raise is down. Little unique in that system, but it is labeled. So a couple things. When you're loading up, when you're getting your horses loaded up, and we will take a look at that for sure outside, we see 3 to 4 inches of lift out of these trailers when they are aired up in the travel position. When you're loading all your stuff up, if you want to air that down, you get 3 or 4 inches closer to the ground. It makes those ramps a lot less steep, and it makes that step up into your tack room a lot easier too. So 12-volt battery runs all that. Deep cycle marine style battery, so gonna last a long time running these, running the LEDs that we can run through this system now too, which is a nice little bonus. All of our tack room lights, our floodlights around the outside of the trailer too, with this 12-volt battery will run those systems too. Nice little bonus, even when you're not hooked up to a truck or a tow vehicle. We do a battery disconnect. our suggestion, if you're leaving it overnight, if you're leaving it for the whole season, switch that off. It's really easy to leave a tack room light on. It's really easy to leave your air ride on, especially if the system's aired up and the compressor's not running. Very easy to do that. So nice and easy, flip that switch to off. You know you're not going to leave any accessories on, and you won't come back to a dead battery. Standard now on all our 12-volt deep cycle systems that we're doing on the trailers is a RedArc charge controller too. So gonna send a lot of charge to that battery when it needs it, and then not going to when it doesn't need it. Gonna buy a lot more battery life, gonna help the health of our batteries too. And like I said, really like this whole system in here too. Secure, you can lock that, and also weather tight too. Not weather tight, but gonna keep everything clean and away from the elements. And then bottom side of this, a little bit more of your air ride system. There is an air drain valve too. So anybody that's run, there's a little bit of moisture in there too, and that's exactly the purpose of the system. Anybody that's run any kind of compressor knows that they do build up a bit of moisture. So once in a while, you want to give that a tug. When it's full of air too, it'll really blow out any air that you have in the system. So a lot of mechanics, a lot of the business end of things going on under here. The versatility and the really big points of the 2+1s that are the selling point, obviously. First and foremost, in this trailer, we're a 5-foot long tack room, so a bit of extra space makes a big difference over those 4-foot tack rooms that we're all kind of used to of the past. So got a bit more elbow room inside of these. Bit of a larger door too, and then I already had it flipped down, but the fold down step that Cimarron does, there's no hardware for that. It really is. I can flip it up and down with my foot as I come in and out if I like, and it's just a gas shock there too. So there's no hardware, there's no pin, there's nothing to get caked up with mud and dirt and gravel, especially out here. We're on a lot of dirt and gravel roads. That makes it a lot harder to use the older it gets. So that makes a big difference. And then you see too, we talked about this trailer being really well optioned out, and obviously some big ones, Air Ride, Werm, those are some key points, but the smaller things too that really make a big difference. We've got a ton of bridle hooks here on the door, and then as we've been doing on partition walls and tack rooms for a long time, carpeting that same space. So really holds up, really helps for resale value, keeping these trailers looking nice going down the road, and quiets down our ride overall too. We talk a lot about plastic on metal connections and how we can keep these trailers riding quiet. This is just one more way to do it. We're not going to have our metal gear bouncing off of there. And then just at the bottom too, really nice spot for some fly sprays. Brush box, it is partitioned a little bit in there too, and some drain holes. I'd be the first one to put some show sheen, fly spray, or hoof paint, or all three in there and spill them. So nice to be able to clean that out. And then a little 10-foot of hose complements, as we work our way inside the trailer, a big 48-gallon half moon shaped water tank. Really nice to have some onboard water. Whether you're going to trailheads that just don't have water, whether you're showing in the swing season and you want to be able to bring some water from home with you, whether you have some picky horses that don't necessarily like to drink some different water, if you're on well water or something like that. Like I said, everybody's got some unique needs, so you never know. Really nice to be able to bring some water from home with you. You've got two valves. Obviously the bottom valve there, you could hook that little 10-foot hose up to and gravity feed some buckets out to the ground level, or you can very easily fit a 5-gallon bucket under that second valve there, and nice to have some options with that. Obviously a couple of the shutoffs are completely pulled off of there to keep it winterized and safe. So looking into the gooseneck, and then yeah, absolutely everything's carpeted. Nice boot box as well, kind of 3/4 length. Wanted to leave that space for the half moon water tank there, but really nice extra storage. And then a great spot to sit down, get changed, take a load off for a second, and then work your way up into the gooseneck. It's a really great step into that area as well. So whether you're using that gooseneck for storage, we are the more squared off nose versus the V nose that we see on some of these Air Ride 2+1s that we do here at Transwest. So you've got a lot more storage possibilities up here. You've got a lot more space. And then my wife runs a 2+1 style trailer. She sleeps up here in the gooseneck quite a few weekends. So with a couple of windows with some cross ventilation, you can really be comfortable inside of this trailer. Throw a bedroll, throw an air mattress up here. It'd be a really nice place to be. We'll talk about Cimarron's insulated roof too, that would help with that comfort level quite a bit too. So LED light up in the nose, Cimarron's Opti Brights. Really, really nice lights. We've got one over the tack room door too, so make a big difference. And like I said, no trickery with anything we're doing for our video. You can run those lights, not even hooked to a tow vehicle, with that 12-volt deep cycle battery system. So nice to be able to have that option. And then again, some small things throughout the trailer that just the added touch. We've got a clothes bar there just above our window on the driver's side of the trailer. Nice to be able to get some of our show coats and shirts and everything else out of our truck. Maybe get that back seat cleaned up a little bit, keep our passengers a little bit more comfortable. Talk about saddle racks and saddle poles. What you'll see is everything's attached on this center beam here, and it has a track down the middle of it. So if you want to add another saddle rack, if you've got a couple jumping saddles, dressage saddle, or you got a bunch of other stuff you want to bring with you, we can add a couple of these, a couple more if you want. Certainly the room certainly depends on what you're stacking it full of. But we carry these in our parts department. Really easy to bolt these on and slide them right in. If you want to delete the saddle poles, those are easy to pull out the top and take out of there. Or if you want to add a few more, maybe space them in between your racks. It's pretty customizable to be able to, it's fully customizable to be able to do and set up this whole system how you want and interchange it and move things around or add or delete some things to it and use it how you like. And like we said, carpeted racks, and then we get to the partition wall on the back side that we're sharing with our horse space, and carpeted as well, both sides of this pass-through door. Really heavy duty hooks. I like these. If I can squeeze in here just to show you. Tall and deep, and they're really stout too. So I'm giving those a good tug. They don't budge at all. We've all gotten to shows. We've all bounced down the highways for a while and found all of our bridles and headgear and tack and everything on a heap on the floor because they're smaller hooks or they're bouncy roads or they're just not as tall. And so just the height of these makes a big difference for me, and I like that quite a bit. And then fully carpeted too. So if you've got some longer shanks or something like that hanging down, you're going to protect your whole wall. And then the pass-through on the 2+1s into this front box stall area. We'll certainly talk a lot more about that as we work our way back around to the side ramp, but we like these quite a bit. So close this back up and work our way back outside really quick. Our LED light control is right there as we work our way out too. So again, a couple LEDs above the door and at the nose of the trailer. Really brightens these trailers up quite a bit. So side ramp is one of the biggest pieces that stands out about the 2+1s. When you kind of look at the overall profile of them, they give you a lot of different options and a lot of versatility. Whether you've got an old fella that you've straight loaded through the rear ramp in that straight load section back there, and he's got sore stifles or bad hocks or something like that, and he can't back off the rear ramp, you can walk him straight off of this side ramp. If you've got some young horses that you're doing some training with and you're trying to teach them maybe some good habits with trailering or something like that, or just that trailering is a fun place to be, this is a really easy trailer just to kind of do laps in and bring them in and out and throughout the trailer. There's certainly a safety aspect too. If God forbid something ever happened behind us and we weren't able to use the rear ramp, or something happened up here and we weren't able to use the side ramp, we have 2 points of entry. So that's a really nice aspect of these too. So talked about air ride and lowering down, and really the angle of this ramp is very, very minimal. I should bring an angle finder out and see the difference between aired up and aired down. But again, loading, unloading, just having that less of an angle makes a big difference. So what I am standing on now is Werm flooring. If you don't know, Werm is an acronym for We Eliminate Rubber Mats. And that's exactly what they do. That's exactly what it is. It is a non-porous flooring sealed to all of the walls. Don't have to take anything out. Don't have to pull mats out every summer at the end of the season when you're done showing for the year. Nothing's going to get down to the aluminum floor either. So it really complements Cimarron's aluminum floor, 4-inch on centers, really stout stuff, all aluminum. So gonna hold up for a long time. Our suggestion with the Werm flooring for your maintenance, for your upkeep, nose your trailer up once a year, pressure wash it out, and then otherwise, when you're doing your brakes and your bearings and your annual service mechanically, have somebody take a peek underneath just to make sure everything looks good. But otherwise, Werm flooring, we can't say enough nice things about that too. We've got some other 2+1 variants on the lot. If a couple of them of those are rubber matted trailers, if there was something you ever wanted to add to a trailer we have here in inventory, let us know. We have a vendor that can help you out with that. Front box here really quick. Talk about dimensions just for a second. Our rear box is just under 10 feet if we made it a full box from rear ramp to this partition wall. And then this box here is 8'8" on the floor. We are 6'9" in the trailer, and we're 7'10" tall. So we're a really tall trailer. We've got a lot of headspace in here. And I would certainly say there's a lot of 2+1s on the market that are that smaller front box, 4, 5, or 6 feet, and really maybe not a usable space for a horse. Certainly a large horse that you would want to be able to put in a tall trailer like this. And certainly this one gives you a bit more room and a bit more versatility. So we'll work our way into the back of it, and I'm going to show you really quickly, just in real time, how easily and how fast we can move this traveling divider. So this full partition here, and we'll talk about it a little bit more as we get it over, is on a traveling divider, just like a barn door roller system almost. And what we can do is I can just go through, drop all the hip and or the chest and butt bars. Again, no rush. A couple of these, all plastic on metal too, so everything rides really quiet on these trailers. A couple hooks. Now I would probably pull these all the way out if I was going to travel this way, but you can leave those on driver's side because that's the side that we're going to store this on as we travel down the road. You can leave those butt bars over there and chest bar over there, and they will pin right up against that wall as we move this. Now we are leaning a little bit towards me, so everything's gonna want to come at me for a second, but it's really as simple as that. We can pin it right back in place. And what we now have, I came from the breeding industry, and I would have used box stalls way more than I would have used straight loads, but I would have wanted the opportunity to have both. We'll let that stay there for a second. And then we can pin a couple back here on the floor as well. And now I've got 2 full box stalls out of this trailer. So whether I'm hauling mares and foals, whether I need to run a mower or a side-by-side in for service really quick, it's a multi-use opportunity that way, and you really have a lot of versatility with this. Obviously, if we're hauling a couple things in here in this box stall, want to pull these off the wall, a couple of pins, really easy to pull those down. And then we're full rubber walls all around. Again, everybody's standing on Werm flooring, and you've got a lot of options too. And then if you do want to make this a completely open space, leave your partition doors, you can unpin that post as well, and you have that option too to make this completely wide open space. Really cool, really versatile trailer. And then again, you don't have to decide if you're hauling a couple somewhere, you're going out of state, and maybe you make a purchase while you're out of state. You don't have to decide to leave this at home. You don't have to get your husband or your wife to help you move this out of the trailer before you go make that purchase. You've got another spot for another horse. When you get to your destination, slide it right back over. So again, I can't say enough about the way that you can use these trailers. Let's talk a couple things about Cimarron that are really cool. First and foremost, drop windows on both sides of us, Opti brights up high. We've got 3 inside the trailer, so you're gonna see a ton of what's going on in here. And then Cimarron standard across the board, everything they build is that insulated roof. So R3 insulation factor, first and foremost, we see a 10-15 degree difference between these trailers on the lot and the competition, the aluminum sheeted roofed trailers. So it makes a big difference, especially if you had 3 in here on a hot summer day. That's gonna make a big difference. And then you will see over the heads of both straight load horses right above me, and then right above our cameraman too, in that front box stall, we've got 2 roof vents there. So a total of 4 roof vents throughout the trailer. They're 2-way. Summertime, you can suck some air through the trailer. Wintertime, you can reverse them and pull some of that moist, humid air out of the trailer and keep everybody really comfortable. And then, like I said, too, drop windows and bus windows throughout. We'll talk about some big, the Dutch windows over the rear ramp when we get outside of the trailer. So we covered a lot inside, maybe a little reverse order for me a little bit, but we'll work our way back outside. We'll close up that side ramp and give you a nice look at this trailer. Again, a lot of versatility with that. Escape door over here on driver's side too. We'll talk about that as we work our way throughout. So really quick, just to give you a good look at it. Door holds on all our man doors, tack room doors hold up really well. Close that guy up on our flip up step as well. And then side ramp is one-hander. You'll see all our paddle latches, obviously our tack room doors, all our paddle latches for all of our ramps, our rear ramp and our doors as well, are keyed alike too. So nice place if you want to throw a tack trunk, if you're staying at a hotel or something like that. Nice place to throw it all in there and know that it's going to stay secure. Flip this guy around. And then as we work our way down the side of the trailer, you'll see our first straight load horse here has got a nice big drop window too, with jail bars. So we can offer a lot more airflow during the summertime too. Jail bars, really nice to be able to, if you've got a full load on here and can't get in through that front box, really nice spot to offer some hay, check some water, something like that. Get a lead shank clipped on before you load or unload. And then no hardware for those jail bars. Really like that about the Cimarron drop windows in those jail bars. Nothing you have to worry about, just pulls right in and out of that track. And it's as easy as that. And then if you are hauling in inclement weather, colder weather, you still have a bus window in there too. So if it's a day this morning that's in the 30s and 40s, might not want a full blast of that drop window, but still want to keep some air moving through these trailers. That's going to make a big difference. So let's talk air ride for a second. Let's talk running gear. First and foremost, these are on Dexter torsion air flex axles. So what that means, if you ever have a dead battery, if you ever have an airbag that leaks or any leaky airline and your air ride will not inflate, you are still on torsion axles. You are never dead in the water anymore. Used to be the case with the systems of old, and maybe it gave them a bad rap, but nowadays you can run down the road. In theory, for the life of the trailer, we would certainly suggest fixing that air ride, get a solution to your problem and get yourself running down the road with that air ride system. So let's talk about that. Again, we saw that fully dedicated self-contained system up front, leveling valve here that's going to keep us riding nice and level and smooth. The first bridge expansion joint you go over on Interstate 25 out here and you don't feel that trailer go over it. Imagine in the driver's seat of a tow vehicle 30 feet away from the trailer, if that's how it feels to you, what your horses are going to feel. So hard to put a number on recoup time or buying some time on the front end or back end of a horse show or something like that, but certainly I think a lot of great value with those air ride systems and just the wear and tear that we're saving on our gear and on our animals and keeping them really comfortable. We are on 17-inch 5 aluminum wheels. Cooper tires on this guy, really nice running gear, and then electric drum brakes. So make sure you've always got, no matter your tow vehicle, that you have an electric brake controller in your tow vehicle. Really quick, before we work our way around to the back of the trailer, this is one of our Dutch doors that goes over the rear ramp. Talk about airflow, we talk about moving air through the trailer, bus windows throughout, drop windows, etc., etc. These rear Dutch windows are designed to be run down the road in the open position. We've got that big major cam lock right there, just like you see on all the ramps for the closed position. And then that same paddle latch, even if you want to lock it, you can secure it that way too. Just one extra means of securement, but a really nice way to get some airflow. You drop some of those drop windows and all that air is going to move right through your horses and right over their backs. So again, a nice little touch with that big open space, excuse me, that you can open that up and get some more airflow through the trailer. I think the rear ramp, to me, it looks almost flat. Maybe we're nosed up just a little bit, but again, 3 to 4 inches of lift out of that air ride system when you have it aired up, and you get a lot of drop out of it when you have it aired down. And that's why I said drop it whenever you're loading or unloading. Again, if you're loading young stuff too, if it's stuff you've got to push onto a trailer, having this ramp and this low load height makes a big difference. So we talked a lot about the inside of the trailer already. We went through that full partition with the airflow and the Werm flooring. Really a lot going on in there, a lot of amenities that we like quite a bit about this trailer. So we'll close up this rear ramp, talk about just a couple of things that Cimarron does. First and foremost, last year just became standard is the reverse light in those taillights. So LEDs throughout the trailer, really low power draw. Brake lights, they do a set of 4 around the back of the trailer. I like that for added visibility. And every single one of them's got an LED, white LED reverse light. So even had somebody walk in the other day, he said, well, I drive an older truck. I'm sure the pin's different. What do I need to do? Do you have it? I said, no, it's just been a very underutilized system for a long time, still part of that 7-pin system. So nice to be able to throw your tow vehicle in reverse, have those automatically come on. And like I said, LEDs throughout, a couple load lights above the trailer, and then we've got control over all of those over here on this driver's side post. Like that, you can hop out of the trailer, hop out of your tow vehicle, come back here. First thing you grab a couple of those lights, load lights, and our interior lights are all controlled there as well. Bring this guy around for you. We'll bring the other one around for you too. And like we said, everything is lockable. So you can secure the whole rear stock compartment, horse compartment of this trailer. And like I said, if you've got some big stuff, you're on the road, or you're leaving your trailer at the parking lot at the showgrounds and you've got just a few extra things that don't fit in a tack room, it's nice to be able to really fully secure this thing. Coming over here to driver's side, mirror image over here on our driver's side horse in that straight load section with this drop window. You see that partition right up against us right now because we've got it in that stowed position against the wall. But a lot of added airflow with that. And then probably failed to mention them on passenger side, but mirror image of passenger side. We've got a couple tie rings over here too. Whether you're tacking up, it's obviously a great spot over there near our tack room door. But certainly we've all been in parking situations or have a couple that don't get along and we need to bring somebody over here to tie up. You have that option as well. In our front box, we mentioned it on our way out, we do have an escape door in there. Within the escape door, another drop window. Really about airflow in these trailers. You get 3 big horses in a trailer like this, they're creating a lot of body heat. It's a 90-degree day. It certainly could be a warm place to be. Anywhere we share, we do an escape door where we share it with our horse space. We double latch it, so just a little added security with that for our horses especially. And then really nice access. I know a lot of people, my wife including, running these style configuration trailers in the 2+1. They're typically hauling 2 and using this box for a bit of extra storage. Really nice to be able to pop in here when you're on the road. If you're doing a road trip, jump in here, offer some hay and water. Your horses don't have to drop a side ramp, and it's just really easy access that way. And above it too, another LED floodlight for us. Time change around here, it's dark before 5 o'clock. Can't have enough lights on stuff this time of year for sure. We really appreciate it when that time changes and things are getting dark. So if you have questions about this, we've got multiple variations of 2+1s on our lot. We even have what we consider a 2+2, a longer box with a partition to load a couple more in that front box as opposed to just a single. So if you have any questions about more of what we have or what this is, if you'd like to see some drawings, please, my email's down below, luke.sullivan@transwest.com. Feel free to reach out. You can call or text me on my cell phone. It's 859-509-1282. We can talk tongue weights, we can talk carrying capacities, etc., etc. Happy to do so. And then if you're really interested in this trailer specifically, please reference it via its stock number 5N 250-985. Thanks for your time today, everybody. Have a great weekend. También hablo español.